Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, January 2nd. A lot to talk about this morning. We have two serious Arctic air outbreaks headed for the Mid-Atlantic region and a snowstorm that will occur from tonight into tomorrow morning. This first Arctic air outbreak will wrap itself up into the snowstorm that will occur overnight tonight into Friday morning, and this Arctic air outbreak will become a major player. I thought we'd first start off with a map of the northeastern part of the country just to kind of summarize up front what I'm thinking in terms of snowfall accumulation. That again will focus in on tonight and tomorrow morning. First of all, south of the Mason-Dixon line, across the DC metro region and into the Delmarva Peninsula region, let's say something like this. Anywhere from a coating to 3 or 4 inches or so in this particular region right here. They certainly will not be spared from some of the unfavorable travel conditions that will occur later on tonight. A coating to 3 or perhaps even 4 inches expected overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. The 4 inches closer to the Pennsylvania-Maryland border, and the coating on the southeast side of the district. Meanwhile, just north of there in the southeastern part of Pennsylvania, across southern New Jersey, roughly this region right here, 4 to perhaps as high as 8 inches of snow expected overnight tonight into the morning hours, and certainly all of that will also occur way down at the coastline, at the shoreline itself. They will get 4 inches or more across southern New Jersey. Just north of there, perhaps in this region right in here from New York City up into Connecticut, 6 to 10 inches of snow, and by the time you get up to Boston area, perhaps a foot of snow from this upcoming snow event. Again, focusing on overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Now, I'm just looking here at the I-95 corridor part of the Mid-Atlantic region. This certainly does not mean that areas out here will not get significant snow, because they will. But again, a coating to 3 inches or perhaps as high as 4 inches in this region, maybe 4 to 8 inches in the southeastern part of Pennsylvania, across southern New Jersey, 6 to 10 inches across New York City, and as high as a foot of snow can be expected in the Boston metro region. Now, later on tonight, there can be blizzard-like conditions. By that I mean heavy snow, blowing snow, strong winds, plunging temperatures, poor visibilities, and of course, terrible travel conditions. Blizzard conditions can occur later on tonight across southern New Jersey, perhaps eastern Pennsylvania. Again, all of this up across New York, especially Long Island, Connecticut, all the way up to Boston. This region right in here can expect a few hour period late tonight into tomorrow morning with blizzard or near blizzard conditions. Again, heavy and blowing snow, strong winds, plunging temperatures way down through the teens, and I would not be surprised if much of this region sees single digits by the time tomorrow morning rolls around. So a serious storm coming overnight tonight as Arctic air becomes a major player. Well, let's first of all start off with the latest radar loop. Most of the precipitation is well north of the I-95 corridor, at least the I-95 corridor between D.C. and New York City, and it will stay that way for much of the day. The only spotty precipitation is expected over the next several hours, and that could even be in the form of a mixture of snow and rain in the I-95 corridor, especially down across D.C. They can expect rain at the onset of this. All of the precipitation becomes snow overnight. In the next few minutes, we'll focus in on the increasingly colder air that will become a major player later on tonight. In fact, temperatures will plunge right through the teens, and again, it could see some single digits, especially north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border by tomorrow morning. That's one of the unusual aspects of this storm, is how cold it will get while it is still snowing late tonight and tomorrow morning. Another kind of a strange aspect is there will be this kind of a hole, a snow hole or a precipitation hole right over the I-95 corridor between D.C. and New York City for the next several hours. Well, all week we've talked about the ingredients necessary for a major snowstorm here in the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeastern part of the country, and how this particular scenario has all of these necessary ingredients in place. A couple of features here I wanted to point out on this morning's surface map. First of all, we talked before about a banana-shaped high-pressure system. That's my drawing here of a banana, and again, we have cold Arctic high kind of surrounding the mid-Atlantic region. One center up here in southeastern Canada, another here across the northern plains, and yet another down over the south central part of the country. This is a crucial player. A second crucial player is this frontal system right here is an Arctic front. This is Arctic air. Increasingly colder air will move into the upper part of the atmosphere, and it will become downright brutally cold by late tonight and early tomorrow. Tomorrow will be one of the coldest days in many, many years here in the Mid-Atlantic region as this first major Arctic outbreak hits the East Coast. Well, another couple of ingredients can be seen here at the very latest 500 millibar map. This is way up in the atmosphere, about 18,000 feet or so, and what goes on in the upper atmosphere really dictates what goes on down in the lower part of the atmosphere. And here we have the energy associated with an upper level trough here in the center part of the country, and we talked about this the other day, kind of an upper level low sitting here in the southeastern part of Canada. Did not move much at all over the last 48 hours or so, and that is helping to force this upper level energy down south and east across this central part of the U.S., and this will help to intensify a coastal storm here over the next 12 to 24 hours along the mid-Atlantic coastline. Well, here's yet another ingredient. We've talked about a powerful upper level jet streak. This is actually a forecast map for early this evening. Plus 150 knot plus winds here in this purple region, cutting right across the northeastern part of the country. This is associated with that strong upper level trough, a powerful upper level jet. This is a very crucial player in any kind of a major snowstorm here in the northeastern part of the country. Well, one of the important aspects of this storm is how cold it will get while it is still snowing here in the mid-Atlantic region. This Arctic air will really be felt overnight tonight, and by tomorrow morning, again, temperatures could drop to the single digits anywhere from Pennsylvania, Maryland border on north and east. In fact, that could occur while it is still snowing, and this will have a couple of effects we'll talk about in a moment. First of all, let's look at this is using the latest NAM model run from 6Z, and it is the surface temperature pattern basically, and we're going to look at 6-hour increments beginning with 1 o'clock this afternoon and going into tomorrow morning. At this time, the freezing line can be seen right here with this purple line cutting across southern New Jersey, right in this region right here. And again, this is early this afternoon. Let's now jump ahead 6 hours. And here's the forecast map for early this evening. That freezing line at the surface now at the southern tip of New Jersey, cutting across the D.C. metro region. Again, this is approximately 7 o'clock this evening, early this evening. Notice that we're trending colder. Let's jump ahead another 6 hours. And here's the forecast map for 1 a.m. early Friday morning. That freezing line now is way down here, cutting across the southern part of the Delmarva Peninsula. One final look 6 hours from now. And here it is, the forecast map from last night's 6Z NAM model run. By tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, that freezing line is way off the East Coast, and it is still likely snowing across much of the I-95 corridor at this time, especially from the Pennsylvania-Maryland border north and east. So what does all this mean, the fact that we have brutal, cold Arctic air moving in? A couple of things. First of all, the snow will become increasingly lighter and fluffier, and that typically changes the snow to rain ratio. Normally we have about a 10-to-1 ratio for every inch of rain. That generally translates to 10 inches of snow, but in this particular case, as it gets colder and colder, that snow to rain ratio could jump to as high as 15-to-1. What that means is you can get more snow accumulation with less total precipitation amount. So that is a major factor here. It also means that we have temperatures plunging through the teens later on tonight, perhaps even down into the single digits. Travel conditions, therefore, will become quite treacherous because salt loses some effectiveness below 20 degrees, and especially if there's some rain at the onset early this evening, which is a real possibility, especially across D.C. and perhaps up into Philadelphia, rain or a mixture at the onset. that will quickly freeze over overnight tonight. So the plunging temperatures will play a crucial role and cause very dangerous driving conditions later on tonight, and increasingly lighter and fluffier type of snowfall. Well, let's now quickly walk through the surface forecast maps from the 06Z NAM model run. This, again, the same time period as what we just focused in on before, early afternoon, and then we'll look at 6-hour increments going all the way to early tomorrow morning. Again, we have this kind of a hole, a snow hole or a precipitation hole right over the I-95 corridor between D.C. and up around central part of New Jersey. Not much in the way of precipitation for the next several hours. In fact, even through the mid-afternoon to late afternoon, only spotty precipitation is expected. Let's now jump ahead 6 hours. And here's the forecast map for about 7 p.m. This evening. Notice now the precipitation starting to fill in here across the I-95 corridor between D.C. and New York City. Again, there can be a mixture of snow or rain or just plain rain across the D.C. region, even into the Philadelphia region at the onset, late this afternoon, early this evening. All of that will quickly change to all snow. Absolutely all snow is expected here by later this evening from D.C. all the way up through the New York City region as this increasingly colder air pours in from the north with this increasingly strong northerly winds. And here's the forecast map for around 1 a.m. later tonight, and this is when blizzard-like conditions or actual blizzard conditions will be occurring, perhaps as far inland as eastern Pennsylvania, certainly from New Jersey up through eastern New England. Places like Long Island already have blizzard warnings in effect. Very strong winds. Because of the light and fluffy nature of the snow, it'll be blowing and drifting occurring. Heavy snow at this time, poor visibilities, and plunging temperatures. Again, right through the teens, perhaps down to the single digits. And it'll be snowing all the way down to the D.C. metro region at this time as this storm off the mid-Atlantic coast intensifies. We looked at that upper level trough. Once that hits the East Coast, this really sets off a chain of events that will lead to a strong mid-Atlantic coastal storm by later on tonight. Finally, the forecast map for early tomorrow morning, still a tongue of moisture going all the way back through southeastern Pennsylvania, all in the form of snow and brutal cold at this time. Again, 10 degrees certainly is in the realm of possibility in many of these locations, perhaps even single digits north and east of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border, with the snow continuing for a while into the morning. It'll wind down across southeastern Pennsylvania in the morning hours and perhaps early afternoon up across New York City and Boston, where an all-out blizzard is likely up in the Boston region late tonight and tomorrow morning, as well as down the East Coast through New York City, again into perhaps as far inland as eastern part of Pennsylvania. So a lot going on here. We have a major snowstorm for parts of the northeast U.S. tonight into tomorrow morning, an associated Arctic blast, and this is just the first Arctic blast. There's another one coming by Monday night and Tuesday of next week, perhaps even colder than this one, perhaps record-breaking, some of the coldest air seen in up to about 20 years or so in this part of the country. Very, very cold air mass coming for next week, and that follows a warm-up on Sunday that could bring 40 degrees to parts of the I-95 corridor with some rain. So a lot of changes, a lot going on over the next 5 or 6 days. Stay tuned to the SIweather.com. That's it for now. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.